Thank you.
Don't ask me what you know is true. Don't have to tell you I love your precious heart. I was standing, you were there, two worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. I reckon it's not fair that Port Adelaide should steal that beautiful song. They played it last night when they flogged Hawthorn. And if you see me shuddering a little bit and pushing this way, it's because of that stuff there. Go Joy. And to the people on our live stream, welcome. You're with us just as if you were sitting here, okay? So please, join in. Neil, I think that's down in Tassie. Yeah, Neil, you're in Tassie. I hope you're out there. This was for you. We gather today to mourn the passing of Glenn Kenny. We gather to say our final farewells, and we gather to pay tribute to Glenn's life of 64 years. For me, it's just too soon. You'd reckon we could have had a few more years yet, lots more years yet. I mean, the Pies might win another flag. It's just not fair. Glenn's nickname was also Carter. I didn't know that. I couldn't work it out whether it was a magpie thing or what it was, but Mark and Tony said that there used to be a Kenny Carter cartoon. And that's where Glenn got it from. He was only 17 or 18. And today, the sadness for Margaret and Tony continue. Because let's pause to remember Lee and Ruby and that beautiful man, Brian. So we would hope, wouldn't we, that a catch-up's been on the cards. That's the sort of images we want. And Marg, you've endured so much. You really have. You're the strongest woman. But please, our hearts and our love are with you. It's not how it's meant to be. We do not bury our children. And we wrap our collective arms around you. Tony, equally you. You've lost your only brother. I mean, how many brothers, ladies and gentlemen, own matching SS Commodores? Well, one's bright yellow and the other's bluey. Lorinda? Grey. Okay. And that little dog at number 12, Ruby Jean, she used to know when Glenn was coming for dinner. If Marg set a place, Margaret only had to set a place at the dinner table, and Ruby Jean would sit on the front doormat right there, waiting for Glenn to turn up. And Buddy the cockatiel, he got involved too the other night when I was there. A bit of a squeak, actually a bit of a squeak there. And Glenn was just about, he had a cage ready to get a cockatiel as well. Probably teach it to sing the Magpies theme song. A cockatoo singing it. Glenn, and I had to stop myself from writing Antony. Glenn had a passion for tattoos. God, he's got some beautiful ink on him. He really has. A liking for American Indian tattoos. And I can remember, I know that he absolutely adored that bright yellow SS. It was an ex-highway patrol car. So that there would be some stories to be told in that car. And he treated it with kid gloves. It was his pride and joy. And I've rabbited on enough about Collingwood. I've written here, sadly Glenn has the same affliction that Margaret has. Collingwood. So you always get a laugh. They deserve it. But Mark says she's got a bit of a leaning toward the Swans because Brian was a Swans man. And guess what at the weekend? Collingwood and the Swans played, well, Thursday night. And sadly, Collingwood won. Well, they did win. Mark told me the other night that at Glenn's place, Collingwood won a flag, and I reckon it'd be 2010. Yeah, 2010. And as you do, because I know a Melbourne supporter who bought a heap of stuff back in 2021, but that's so long ago, Glenn put a flag, a big magpie flag in his front window for everybody to see. Years went on and years went on, and it got a bit faded and a bit more faded and started to fall to bits until Mum finally said, "No, you got to take it down. You got to take it down." Glenn had a workshop under the house that, well, he was comfortable tinkering. As simple as that, he was comfortable tinkering. And he'd slowly begun to be interested in the garden. But then I said to Tony, because Tony had arrived, and I said, "Tony, give us a list of Glenn's cars." Well, there was the yellow SS was his pride and joy, I've said that. His first car was a white Charger, Dodge Chrysler Charger, and then an HK Monaro, which he repainted from yellow to burgundy. The HJ Monaro, which was a purpley blue colour. Kangaroo jumped out and wiped it out up Rochester Way on his way to Lakes, so that was wiped out. Another Monaro, a bony coloured Monaro. An EA Falcon, wrote that off. A couple of roughies in between, Tony said. And Glenn rang Tony, "Look, can you have a..." It would have been at the auctions. Tony, I'm thinking.
No, just at the yard.
Just in the yard. "Can you have a look at a car for me?" "Yeah, righto, okay." So Tony went and looked at it and rang him back and said, "It's the same as mine. It's an SS." And that was about 2014, we thought. Sport was Glenn's thing on telly. But he was very sporty himself. He played footy and cricket and was a great baseball player. He actually played for Victoria, and there was a chance that he might have played for Australia at one stage, so you've got to be fairly good at your sport to be able to get to that stage. You see, these are the memories. The things I've mentioned, these are the memories that we share, the memories that we hold close. So please, ladies and gentlemen, bring back your favourite memory. Your favourite memory of Glenn, and hold it close. We've chosen a couple of readings today that reflect Glenn. The first one's called "To My Family." "When I'm gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do, you must not tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that I've had so many years. I gave you my love. You can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. And I thank you for the love that you each have shown. But now it's time I travelled on alone. So grieve a while for me, if grieve you must. Then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part. So bless the memories in your heart. I won't be far away, for life goes on. So if you need me, call and I will come. And though you cannot see or touch me, I'll be near. And if you listen with your heart, you will hear all of my love around you, soft and clear. Then, when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and welcome you home." I think that's a beauty. We put together a précis of Glenn's 64 years of life. And it began on the 28th of Feb in 1961 at Panch, which is no longer in Preston. Preston and Northcote Community Hospital it was, in Bell Street, to Margaret and Brian Kenny. And he was the older brother of Tony. The family were living at Preston in Pender Street, just off Bell Street. Then Marg and Brian and the family moved to Boronia, and Glenn went to Boronia Heights Primary and then Knox Technical School. He left school at 15, he had enough, but he actually wanted to be a carpenter, but decided on an apprenticeship as a butcher with Woolies at Boronia. He left Woolies and worked at MGS Garden Supplies on the Frankston Road, just out of Dandenong, and then to Ferntree Gully Timber as a fencer. So he's got a fairly broad outlook on what he's able to do. Then moved up to Rochester, if you want to say it properly. Asplin Tree Trimming, he was a foreman. And Margaret and Brian moved to Lakes in 1996 to be closer to Mark's mum Ruby. Glenn followed 2 years later and brought the home at 126 Golf Links Road, that was in 1998 we thought, and began work at Vegco in Bairnsdale. Now that's a job and a half. You like a little bit of sunshine, a bit of warmth when you're working, you go into Vegco and you get the clubber on because it's all below zero. In 2001, went across to Western Australia to Bunbury for 3 years, working in the abalone industry. And Lakes seems to have this way of drawing people back. You return to Lakes and work with Lakes Cleaning Service. And the sadness is that Glenn had only commenced work with Woolies only a few weeks ago. And those Woolies members who have come along this morning or this afternoon, Marg would like me to acknowledge how wonderful that the Woolies crew have been. Just so supportive. And sadly, Glenn's life was cut short, ladies and gentlemen, far too short, at the age of 64. There was lots more years to be had, Mark. Lots more years. Now, time to pause for a second. We're going to watch a photo presentation. I can't wait to see some of the cars. I hope you found some of the cars. 1, 2. And it's a crew called Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. Now, as far as names go, I reckon that's fairly flash. But sit back and watch these photos of Glenn. Thanks, Cal.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way, from where we began.
You know we started.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Let me tell you.
When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong. And what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach, so remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Don't let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
For those of you up the back who are listening to the music, you might not have heard Ma go, "Oh no," she said the other day, "Don't want any tattoos." Guess what? No. In their own way, they're beautiful pieces of art. No. No. Tony, do you want to come up and say a few words? Do you feel up to it? No. No. You've got it in your heart. You don't have a relationship that you and your brother had. You'll not be broken-hearted. We had a look at this reading. Oh, before I do start this, we are going to go up to the cemetery to lay Glenn to rest. Then we'll come back here for a cuppa and a bite to eat and a sharing of memories. Okay, so please, if you're able to, come back. If it's a bit much to go up to the cemetery, Mark, I'm sure you wouldn't mind me saying that, look, stay here for a cuppa. Don't eat all the party pies, but stay here for a cuppa, please. And we won't be all that long, but we're going up to the cemetery after here. We thought that this, it's for everyone, but it's particularly for Mark and Tony. If I knew it'd be the last time that I'd see you fall asleep, I'd tuck you in more tightly. I'd pray the Lord your soul to keep. If I knew that it'd be the last time that I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and a kiss and I'd call you. I'd call you once more. If I knew it'd be the last time I'd hear your voice lift up in praise, I'd videotape each action and word so I could play them day after day. If I knew it'd be the last time I could spare an extra minute or two to stop and say, I love you, instead of assuming you already knew. If I knew it'd be the last time, I'd be there to share your day. Well, I'm sure that you'd have so many more, so I can let this one slip away. For surely there's always tomorrow to make up for an oversight, and we always get a second chance to make everything wrong right. There'll always be other days to say our I love yous, and certainly there's another chance to say our is there anything I can do's. But just in case I'm wrong, and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and hope we never forget. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody, young and old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not? Why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug or a kiss. And you were too busy to grant somebody what turned out to be their last wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear. Tell them how much you love them, and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. I think that's really profound, simple words, but utterly profound, because that's how it is. We never quite know. It's time to say farewell to Glenn. You said earlier that 64 years is just not long enough. And you ask yourself, what would be wrong with another 20 years? 64, 74, 84? But it's not to be. We are left with our memories. And our memories are what must sustain us. Our memories are what keeps us connected to Glenn. Each of you gathered here today have known this man, and you know you have been impacted by him. You've shared experiences, and that's what we make memories out of, experiences. I hope that Glenn's been standing quietly in the shadows today with his Collingwood gear on. You've got to say that, because it really is him, Mark, isn't it? I mean, I notice you've got a black and white top on, Margaret. And I know that you will fold your arms around Margaret at home. Hold her close. Remember what I said about it in that little poem, is there any things I can do? Because it's pretty hard to lose a child. And if you feel that you'd like to, ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in the words of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. As I said earlier, please, if you want to stay here for a cuppa, you are welcome. But we will move up to the cemetery now and lay Glenn to rest. And there can be only one song. I'm not even going to say it, because you know, as we take Glenn on his last journey. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here this afternoon to honour Margaret and Tony and Lorinda and the rest of the Kenny family. And gosh, I hope they've caught up there, Mark. I hope they have. So let's get ourselves organised to take Glenn on his final journey from here. And we'll play that song in a minute. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kevin.
That came for the good old Collingwood.
hang on. Hang on, we'll put the coffin back first. Well done. Yep. Right there, boys, gently down.
Big full figured, mate.
Right, you're ready?
All good.
Hello. I didn't feel it. I like the way he felt. Yeah, I don't feel mine. I have all this stuff, eh?
Straight to the back of the roll bar. Watch your head. Let that go.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Oh, it's next February, just